This is Graceful Exposure, and I promised you a video about Young Thug and how the trial is going on. And unfortunately, God has switched gears on me, and I have run into this video, and I have to deal with it because God has me taking down bullies. Now I know the assignment that I'm doing right now in this season, and that is to deal with the bullies on social media, the bullies in the industry, the bullies in the political field, the bullies. So as I do this, I want you to bear with me. I'm going to get that Young Thug three-part series, just catching you up on the trial, but I have to take care of this business right now. Okay? So watch this and I'll give you my commentary.
Guess what? This time old Charleston says he's calling the feds on Boosie Poo because Boosie obviously threatened him over social media. So we're gonna get into the content. The beef between Charleston White and Boosie Badass is still sizzling, you guys. Guess what? Recently they had an issue where Aiden Ross, a popular streamer, wanted to bring Boosie on his platform. He has millions of followers, and that could have possibly projected Boosie, to make more money and have more followers on his platform. But you had Charleston White, who's real cool with Aiden Ross, and say, "Hey man, don't bring Boosie on your platforms, right? If you do that, I can't fool with you no more, Aiden." And Aiden Ross took Charleston White's advice, and he didn't have Boosie on his show. And I'm pretty sure that rubbed Boosie the wrong way. And now we got a whole different situation occurring, where a promoter wants to bring Charleston White to Boosie Badass's city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And guess what? Boosie called wind of this, y'all. And he said, "Hey man, hey man, if you bring Charleston White to my city of Baton Rouge, guess what? I'm gonna send them killers, them hitters at that door." Really, Boosie. You wanna send those hitters, those killers, those shooters, those murderers at Charleston? Now, see, the problem with this is that, Boosie's own family told Boosie a while back, "Look, man, don't you say nothing about Charleston White. Don't mention Charleston White's name." See, Boosie didn't want to talk about Charleston, and he didn't want to mention Charleston's name in a lot of interviews where he was asked about Charleston White. But all of a sudden, now Boosie is speaking on Charleston and sending threats, allegedly. And this is crazy because nobody's seen this coming because Boosie has been real hush mouth when it comes to Charleston White. Because everybody know Charleston White gonna put them laws, them folks, them peoples in your life. And for Boosie to send him a threat, it's kind of shocking, you guys. But of course, you have Charleston saying what he always said. He gonna call them folks. So once Charleston got word of Boosie's response of the idea of Charleston White coming to his hometown of Baton Rouge, Louisiana to do a comedy show, right? And the threats that Boosie was sending out about, having something done to the promoter if he bring Charleston. This is what Charleston had to say. So look, Boosie making threats. I've already contacted law enforcement concerning these possible threats against my life. And he added Vlad TV in his status. Wow, really? So why would Boosie want to play with Charleston like this? Because he knows that Charleston is going to call them people, and he going to file complaints and do whatever he can to get another notch up under his belt, another criminal off the streets. So that's kind of crazy that Boosie would even, send this guy a threat, right? Wow. So how's this whole ordeal going to play out? Do you have Boosie finally addressing Charleston now, right? And, sending alleged threats to a promoter about bringing Charleston to his hometown of Baton Rouge. And, of course, Charleston is taking this as a threat as well because Boosie is saying that he going to send them hitters, them killers at him if he bring his ass down to Baton Rouge, right? And of course, Charleston responded classically with, "I'm sending your ass to jail, Boosie." playing with me. Check out the video. Run it.
Boosie, I'm gonna put your mother in jail. Boy, you making threats to the promoter? I got a recorded phone conversation.
Just hold on, guys. I'm going to find the comment that I made on this gentleman's page while I'm on hold. Let me see the name of his page again. OG Jacario.
That Boosie go send them people to get you. He said he can't have the show because Boosie go. I said, I just hired the police. The promoter scary. Scary. The Boosie is a host. And I bet he don't want to get in that boxing ring. See, Boosie, you gonna try to send somebody, but you ain't gonna do nothing, bitch. I'm gonna put your bitch. I'm waiting for the FBI to send me the right collar number. I'm gonna make a report on your mother. You make the man call your name specifically. The promoter specifically said your mother name, Lil Boosie. He implemented you and implicated you. Bitch, you finna go to jail. Back to jail. You gonna be on your knees, but you gonna be bleeding again. Diabetic freak.
So as we seen in the video, Charleston White is saying that the promoter implicated and indicated, right, incriminated Boosie as the one that's making the threats on the promoter's life and also on Charleston's life. And the promoter is saying he's scared, man, because he got to stay out here in Baton Rouge, right? And all this is going on now. He don't know how it's going to turn out. But Charleston is saying, hey, man, don't worry about it. I got your back. I'm going to call the FBI on Boosie, right? So as you heard in the video, Charleston White is saying he got witnesses on a recorded phone call that Boosie made these threats against the promoter's life and his life if he was to come to Baton Rouge and do this comedy show that the promoter obviously tried to get Charleston to do before this whole situation spiraled out of control. And Charleston is saying, look, man, I can bring the police with me, bro. Don't worry about Boosie and what he talking about. Boosie's scary. Boosie's a hoe. That's what Charleston said, right? And now he's saying that, you know, look, the promoter gotta be scary because the promoter is steady talking about what Boosie gonna do, right? So Charleston is saying, look, don't worry about none of that, man. I'm about to call the FBI on this dude, man. He messing with my money. He messing up my comedy shows and, you know, my touring dates and all this here. So at the end of the day, what's really going on, you guys? So what, Charleston White and Boosie ever hug and make up like him and Kevin Gates did? Now, I know y'all seen the video of Charleston White and Kevin Gates, right? Hugging. It was a prolonged hug, too, almost like a 5-minute hug, right? And Charleston said a lot of degrading and foul things about KG, Kevin Gates, and they made up. So will we ever see a Boosie and Charleston White makeup? Because every time we look up, man, these two getting into it about something petty. Now, why would Boosie be worried about Charleston getting his money and, you know, no matter if it's in his hometown or not? Who knows? See, Boosie, that's not player, man. You can't be hating on a man hustle and his grind all because you don't agree with his views and his points, right? It makes you wonder, why is Boosie Badass worried about Charleston White's pockets in his comedy show and, you know, trying to get his money on? Why is Boosie concerned about that? Just because it's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where Boosie is from? I mean, come on, man. It gotta be deeper than booty hair. Is this a deep feel of hatred that Boosie has for Charleston? I imagine so. Because Charleston's always, you know, bragging on how he's gonna get Boosie locked up. You know, and even with the California gun case, Charleston said he was the one that called the laws on Boosie and said he had a gun out there in Cali. So maybe this whole thing is deeply rooted in hate. And it's deeper than booty hair. Wow. Yeah. Many would say, well, what's Boosie's beef with Charleston? Well, Charleston White has spoke on Boosie numerous amounts of times and also implicated Boosie in murders. For instance, the Duke the Jeweler murder, right? You had Boosie being implicated by Charleston in that murder out there in Houston with Duke the Jeweler. And I'm pretty sure Boosie is still holding some animosity about that whole situation. So how will this whole ordeal play out between Charleston White and Boosie Badass, you guys? Will the FBI actually lock Boosie up for these threats? Who knows? You have to sit back and watch. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spending with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey, man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deep in the booty.
No, I will never, never follow you. Let me read my response to this one-sided reporting. This one-sided, I'm on Charleston White side reporting. I said, you sound so foul. I said, I can't wait to expose you on my channel. But first, let me comment. You saying that Charleston White can call everybody else foul and Boosie leave him alone, but Charleston White can call Aiden and tell him don't let Boosie on his show. But Boosie can't make a call and use his influence to get him cut off of a show and making some paper in Baton Rouge. Okay. While even White even said he called the people on Bootsy about the gun in California, and that's the reason he got locked up with the gun. So don't go acting like you doing fair coverage. Vengeance is the Lord's, but no black man should be actively trying to lock anybody up. Let the law and the courts do their job. And remember, every dog has his day. And Charleston White is just as not exempt as Bootsy. One thing for certain and two things for sure. God don't like ugly. So report facts. Don't just push hearsay, which is Charleston White's recording. And I'll talk about that. Which the FBI may find out that he set the call up with the guy ahead of time and may lock Charleston up. Just like Bean in the Young Thug trial and Fannie's RICO, and this trumped up overt act states evidence is covering a lot of stuff up. And a whole lot of black men, black on black cap is going on. So look at what Fannie's going through right now. We reap what we sow. So get it right when you cover. Can't touch God's anointed, no matter who is God's anointed. So be careful what you say about Charleston White and about Boosie. And I said, see you on YouTube. You'll find me, Graceful Exposure. Now, let me tell you something. Let me just tell you this. This guy, Rundown, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, watch maybe one or two of his other videos. But if I find that he's one of these jokers that promote evil and hatred, I'm going to come at him again. And I'll come at him again. And I'll come at him again as long as God has me on his case. But if he just made a mistake on this one video and he just kind of reported one-sided against Bootsy, I'm not just a Bootsy fan, and I even like Charleston White a little bit on some of the things he says. But a lot of stuff Charleston White is doing is bullying. Charleston White is a big old bully, and I'm calling him out. He thinks he's the bully and he's God's cop when it comes to doing the police's job and trying to get people locked up with the authorities. Is he trying to get some Epstein's locked up? No. Is he trying to get some other folks locked up that have been accused of behaviors? No. As a matter of fact, Aiden is his friend, his buku, his partner, and he claims that he went on Aiden's show and he was being pushed towards being set up by some alternative lifestyle activity. We don't know if he succumbed or not. We weren't there. All we know is what he said out of his mouth. So if you're going to bully Don't go throwing rocks in a glass house, Charleston White, because your house is just as black as anybody else's house. And you can be locked up like the next person. And things you try to set up to do to other people will backfire and come to you if you're trying to do the law's job or the court's job. Look at Fannie Willis. Fannie Willis called a RICO on Trump and on Young Thug. And now, during the whole RICO that she's supposed to be the prosecuting attorney over, she has her case looking crazy with Young Thug and her case looking crazy with Trump. Instead of doing her job, she was sleeping with the prosecutor that she hired, and she had the appearance of inappropriateness that Judge McAfee ruled and said, this is inappropriate behavior, and one of you got to go. And so her prosecuting attorney, of course, he gave his resignation. Fannie Willis is still on the case, but for a moment, because I've already predicted that Fannie Willis will eventually probably be disbarred and that she would eventually something would happen to that case, which has already happened. I believe she still may be taken off the case and that she still may be disbarred because there's a lot of inappropriateness going on. These individuals are bullies. They're bullies to the 100th degree. Fannie Willis started 9 years ago, and she bullied and took on a case that set all these Black teachers and administrators in a school and gave them for a first offense time, and fines of over approximately $5,000 for um, mudging or smudging grades to help the children to go to the next grade. And a lot of these were done on tests or something like that. But when she did this case, she made an example of these Black teachers and administrators as if they had stole a car or as if they had raped somebody or as if they had done something. She didn't give them the opportunity of the first offender. The judge said that he would look at it and try to see if he would give some of them that. But no, Fannie started RICO way back 9 years ago. And here, 9 years later, she has become the DA. She's been a judge and she's in a position of power. And what does she do? She starts throwing her weight around and starts racking up, trying to do another RICO. Why? I believe, allegedly, for political reasons. I don't know. What do you believe? These are bullies. All of these people are bullies. Boosie is not going around trying to bully. He is, I believe, allegedly trying to change his life. Charleston White, he had a good purpose going on where he was trying to speak out against some of the injustices and the double standards we have. But Charleston White bullies people when he gets ready. He bullied Kevin Gates. They made up. Do you think him and Boosie's gonna make up? No, I don't believe so because Boosie held his peace, held his tongue, didn't do anything to Charleston White, following the direction of what his family told him. Well, you can push a man and a Black man only so far. And for you to stop his bag and to be coming against him and saying that you're the one that had him locked up when he got the gun charge and speaking those things out, do you really think you can go to Louisiana and push past that when this is Bootsy's state and he does have influence over there? And yes, he used his influence to stop you. And then you have a recorded call, just so happened, of the man that is stating that he can't bring you to get his bag to Louisiana. And he's not going to do it because he's fearing for his life. If the FBI finds out that you called that man ahead of time and there were 2 or 3 calls back and forth and you finally made a recording of the last call and had that guy just talking as if he was just letting you know that, oh, I can't get you to come here. You done messed up, Charleston White. You done got the FBI in the middle of your he say, she say, hearsay. because that's what it's called. It's called hearsay. This is a conversation between you and that promoter. So let me just tell you, Bootsy and Charleston White, and no, I'm sorry. Let me just tell you, Jacario, OG Jacario, your reporting was one sided. You stated that Bootsy was told not to do this and told not to do that. Since when is a grown black man going to be told what to do? And if it was you, are you going to sit up there and chump out and allow somebody to push you and not do something back? That is what's wrong with black people, some of our black people. They allow people to push them that are in the upper echelon, and they get pushed enough so that they decide, oh, I'm just going to go crawl in my house and not do nothing about it. That's why we don't have things done in the United States right now, because it's a whole lot of black people that are not speaking out, that are not standing up for their rights and not saying anything back, not doing anything back. Is that the answer for Boosie to keep on turning his cheek? Yes, the Bible does say to turn the other cheek. To turn the other cheek. But guess what else it did? It said how Jesus went into the temple and beat those people out and said, my father's house will not be a house of merchandise. Did he turn the other cheek then? No, he whooped them up out of the synagogue. And he told them, this is not how my father's house is going to be run. So there was another occasion where the scribes and the Pharisees tried to come to Jesus and say, this woman's caught in adultery. What are you going to do now, Jesus? What are you going to do now? And what did Jesus do? He drew on the ground and didn't pay any attention of them. And they were sitting there wondering what Jesus was going to come and say so they can find something wrong with him. And Jesus turned around and said, okay, he that is without sin cast the first stone. I want you to throw that first stone. And guess what? Each of them went away. And there was nobody left by the time that woman looked up. And Jesus asked that woman, where are your accusers? She said, I don't see any, Lord. There are none. He said, okay, then. Well, now you go and sin no more. Just like Paul. Paul was on the road to Damascus, and he was a person that was known for killing Christians. He was killing Christians because he thought he was doing God a service. As he was killing these people, Paul really was, he was a murderer, and he was killing the very people that God loved. And God allowed a bright light, which was him, to knock him off his horse, fall to the ground, and blind him. And he told Paul, he said, I'm going to lead you to where you're going to get your sight back. When Paul got his sight back and was led to where he was going to be led, he became the biggest writer in the New Testament. And this was somebody that used to be a murderer. So Charleston White, while you're busy pointing a finger at Bootsy, who you say allegedly is a murderer, can God use a murderer? Yes, he used Paul. Can God use anybody? Who is it that lets you be the judge and the jury on who God's life, God can change their life? And if it's up to you to put them in jail or decide that this is the ending story of their life. How do you know that you're not killing the best prophet or the best evangelist around? You don't know. You don't know, but you have this false, this righteousness that is not a real righteousness, because you're playing both sides to the middle. One thing about it, and two things for sure. God said, I want you to be hot or cold, because if you're in the middle, if you're lukewarm, he said, I'll spit you out of my mouth. Charleston White, at least Bootsy, knows what he's doing and has decided, I'm going to be this. What are you doing? You're on one side, flipping back to the other side, flipping back to this side, having the foul things to say on this side, and then good things to say on this side. You don't know what you want to do. But Charleston White, you have got a successful career ahead of you. Don't mess around and let yourself get locked up. Don't mess around and let these things, or your vendetta with Boosie, cause you to be so spewed with this hatred in your heart to go against one person that you don't become a bully. You're a bully, Charleston White. You're bullying a lot of people. You are such a big bully, and nobody's told you that before. Somebody should have took you over their knee and said, "You are not the king or the ruler of this game." You just put yourself in one of those games and said, "Y'all not gonna play. I'm gonna play. So get out the way. I'm in charge." You're not in charge, Charleston White. Unfortunately, you don't run the world and you don't rule the world, and you don't say when somebody gets saved, give their life to God and changes. And you don't dictate when somebody goes to jail. God is not going to have it. God said, "Touch not my anointed." You better be careful that you're not touching God's anointed when you're touching him. You better be careful, both of y'all. I'm not for tit for tat. But I am for, if somebody keeps pushing me, I'm going to use my influence to show you, you ain't going to keep pushing me in a corner. I will push back. So you just got a little bit of the pushback, Charleston White. So you got the bully of the day, the bully of the week. I might have a dunk, like they have donkey of the day in the Breakfast Club. I might have a bully of the day or bully of the week. Well, if there's a bully of the week, Charleston White, you're the bully of the week. You done took the hat off of Fanny. You done took the hat off of her, and you done put that hat on you. And now you're bully of the week. And OG Jacario, don't come for me unless I send for you. Just take that little spanking that I just gave you and run with it. This is graceful exposure. That is as graceful as I could do that one right there. You take care. Have a good night. I'm still going to give you the review on the Young Thug trial, and it is good. And I have some juicy things to tell you about that you will be so surprised of what's going on with our judicial system and how judges and prosecuting attorneys get away with so much stuff. I am just so amazed. But I have to get that to you this weekend. I promise. But I did drop a little bit to you on that the Young Thug hearing is going to come up. So I did kind of keep my word that I got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do the 3 parts. So bear with me. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye.